What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the live stream. So I have another guest on tonight.
Important guest.
A very important guest. This is my buddy Ben. He happens to be the pastor at my church.
We weren't going to tell people that.
You know what? We
were going to let them guess what my
Ben did offer to open us in a round of prayer this evening, but we decided not to. But yes, this is my buddy Ben. We got to know each other while he was driving around with me while I was selling sewer pumper trucks back when I was selling equipment, and Ben actually took the day to drive around with me and visit a couple sites, and we pumped some sewage, and Ben got a nice whiff of what money smells like. So anyway, tonight Ben is joining us. It's going to be we're just going to have fun tonight. Ben is joining us as a fill-in expert on the dirt industry. Ben's never worked in the dirt industry. He doesn't know anything about the dirt industry.
No, that's not true.
Oh.
That is not true. So, I have at least 3 days of experience.
Okay, 3 days of experience, and I apologize. I do apologize. He has 3 days of experience in the dirt industry.
And I can make up for it with my education.
Okay.
I went to graduate school, so that makes up for some of my lack. And confidence actually makes up for any lack of knowledge.
That's true.
I have lots of confidence.
Oh, and that's really what we're shooting for tonight. If you guys ask a question towards Ben, he will answer it with full confidence and zero knowledge.
Yes.
And so whatever dirt questions you guys want to throw Ben's way, start lining them up in the chat. And Ryan, thank you for reminding me. I am now turning on live chat. Thank you. Every week I forget to do that. And what happens is I ignore half of the people because their comments just don't show up.
Okay.
And I look like a giant a-hole. So so anyway.
Now, how is that different from like your everyday life when you ignore like texts that I send? Like it takes
one is intentionally being an a-hole, and one of them's accidentally being an a-hole.
Okay.
And so this is accidental.
Okay, fair enough.
So anyway, Landmark Property Solutions. Forgive me, I can't remember your name from last time. Remind me in the comments there. The good word is we're past the big bout of snow we just got. I got suckered into doing snow removal this past week. I actually spent all day Wednesday out pushing snow. Wrapped up about 7:30 in the evening, and then was back at 2 o'clock in the morning the following morning, and pushed until about 8:30 in the morning to get all of the parking lots cleared out. So I'm glad to be done with that.
You did not show up at our house.
I did not show up at your house, no. I didn't have a piece of equipment, and I wasn't about to use your little rickety old
shovel.
Whatever that thing is you guys had with the wheels behind it.
Yeah,
the blade
that's my North Dakotan special shovel.
That's interesting. So Ryan's car broke down last week, and we are good. He's saying that the car held together today, so that's good. I'm glad you're here, and thank you for the top chat reminder because I did not have that on. Bobby Gematria, what's happening, my man? Thanks for showing up. Appreciate it. Yes, and absolutely, Darren. That's right. Landmark Property Solutions is Darren. Yes, Darren says it sounds like you would fit in perfectly on a job site. It's just confidence. You don't have to know.
Well, and the other key I think is to look like you're working when you're not actually working.
Yes, you just go through the motions to make it look like you're working as the foreman drives by. Absolutely.
And that's the other thing that I found is like when we worked on that job together for those 3 days, the sewer job where I replaced my pipes, my sewer pipes.
Correct. It was your poop.
I think that I actually worked better as a foreman than I did on the end of a shovel.
Everybody does. Yeah, everybody generally does.
Yeah. I mean, just the way that I was able to tell you how you were doing things incorrectly.
Correct. Yes.
Reminding you of things that I was sure you weren't aware of.
Yep.
Yes. So, yeah.
Yep. So we're going to fire off. Ryan has started you off. We're just going to get right into the thick of it. The running joke on this channel is that I hate backhoes and I hate JCB. And he would like your opinions on both JCB and backhoes.
So one of the things you need to understand is I grew up in Japan, and that means that the best equipment comes out of Japan. I don't even know what JCB is, but I know what Kubota, and by the way, you guys pronounce it incorrectly. It's not Kubota, or whatever you guys say, it's Kubota.
It's Kubota.
No, Kubota is...
God damn it, this is Merca. It's Kubota.
It's going to be the best machines that you can get, and then Hitachi will be the other one. Once again, pronounced incorrectly by everybody here in America.
Hitachi.
But JCB's, I don't even know what that is.
It's a British company.
So yeah, it's not Japanese, and then I guess secondly, it's not American. So you're gonna got a couple points running against you there.
That's very true.
But apart from that, do they have any dealerships in the area here?
Well, it's not strictly JCB. I want to say JCB is carried by AIS or Alta, and it's one of their other brands that they carry.
Okay. Yeah.
So, what about versatility of backhoes? What are your thoughts on the versatility of a backhoe versus the production of a skid steer and mini excavator combination?
So, once again, where I'm going to come back to is I don't have a hell of an idea what the answer to that question would be. However, I guess the question I would ask is what's cheaper and what looks better?
Well, so this is where you're supposed to be masquerading as the expert. I thought you were.
I'm not masquerading. I am the expert. It's just I don't know the answer to that question.
So here's the problem. So backhoes a backhoe's going to set you back probably about 110 to 120,000, depending on how you.
So like a vehicle that I would own is about, like, as a pastor, that's gonna like that. So about
right in that price range. Yeah, right about. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So
right.
Instead of owning that vehicle, you could purchase a backhoe.
Yeah.
And you have a front bucket that's used for carrying stuff around site, or you've got a backhoe, backhoe portion.
Yes.
Which is for digging trenches and everything. But the problem is, it's not great at either one. So a loader or a skid steer is going to be far more efficient for carrying the material around, and a mini excavator is going to be far more efficient for digging trenches and everything in a straight line.
Right.
And so now that being said, a mini excavator is going to set you, depending on the size, you're probably 50 to 60 grand deep in a mini excavator, and a skid steer is probably going to set you back another 60-ish.
Yeah.
So you're roughly about the same price-wise, maybe a little more expensive with the two machines. But now you are double maintenance.
Trailering?
You trailering. So now, if you've got a big enough trailer, you could potentially put both machines on the same trailer you would have put that backhoe on. It's not going to be hauled behind a pickup truck.
Yeah.
But you do have the possibility of like a triaxle dump truck with a tag trailer. You could throw both on there, fall within your weight restrictions. You can get them both to the job site.
Right.
So, just based off of that, what are your thoughts there?
I think once again, I think you're asking too many questions because I don't have an answer to that.
Ryan just totally called you out on it too. He said, "Where did that confidence go?"
Damn it! Hold on. Let me go and just step out for a minute. I'm gonna get a little beverage to drink.
Oh, okay.
That's gonna help me with my confidence.
Yes.
I will come back.
Is it called Google?
I will come back and have an answer for you. But the one thing that I was thinking of is Rick. He runs with just a skid steer, and then he's renting the extra equipment that he has. So he's
correct,
because he's viewing that skid steer as like that's the thing that he's going to use on every job site.
Yep.
And versatility, whereas some of those other machines that he was renting based on the job because of the size and stuff like that. So
it does give you far more flexibility doing it that way.
Yeah, and you can then push snow in the winter.
That's true.
A little extra cash.
That's true. Well, you can get a snow bucket for your backhoe too. So I don't want to. I agree that I would lean towards the skid steer mini excavator, but I do want to be fair because you can put a snow bucket on a backhoe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, there it is, guys. So for those of you just joining us, Ben is my friend and a pastor of our church, and doesn't know anything about dirt work. He's done 3 days worth of dirt work. But he's coming in here with the confidence that we're just going to really come up with answers to whatever your questions are. So throw your dirt questions for Ben down in the comments so that we can kind of go through and really test his skill at BSing is really what we're measuring tonight. So,
or if you want like answers to questions that I have knowledge on,
philosophical, biblical questions would be great. We can
soccer.
That's true. Football is what they call it.
This is true. Or what would be the other thing that I could talk about?
Japanese food.
Japan.
Oh, Japan. Anything Japan related. So if there's any of you weirdos that are into anime,
So let me just put this out here. I grew up in Japan, so I actually make fun of the people who are into anime. And it's anime, it's the actual pronunciation.
Anime.
So just, Kubota Hitachi anime. These Japanese words
Yes.
that I want to make sure you guys
Yes.
get correctly.
And so, by the way, just so you guys are aware, Ben actually is fluent in Japanese. You spoke Japanese before English.
I did.
And so, yeah, that's actual Japanese pronunciations. That's not him just trying to sound Japanese. He legitimately speaks Japanese.
That is a good point.
So-
unlike my knowledge of dirt work,
Yes, this is legitimate. He is legitimate speaking Japanese. So, let's see here. Catch you back up on the comments. Darren, only bad thing about snow is insurance claims. If you're the one that has to deal with them, luckily I don't have to deal with those. And Ryan, I do agree, we are a little light. It's starting to pick up. We got 17 of us in here now. It's just a little quiet starting off here. So, Andrew, what's happening? Good to see you, man. Jay, what's going on? Remember your friend, the foreman from you replacing the clay? That's him. This is the foreman from this. Good eye, Jay. Good eye.
That's what I'm saying is like when I look at my career in dirt work, I found myself like the foreman was probably the area that I excelled the most in.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm going to be able to answer your question.
He was able to walk
Being
right
in
into the
charge.
position and really act like he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see here. Bobby Wheeler, what's happening? Digging 30 inches of frost in northeast Iowa. I believe that. You guys are cold out that direction. And my folks lived out in Nebraska for a while, and same thing, dude. That wind gets driving across the plains, and it's unbelievable how cold it gets. Dennis, what's happening? Dozer Dennis has got a channel. He's got a really good channel. In fact, if you guys don't follow Dozer Dennis, go follow Dozer Dennis because he's got a great channel and he does some really awesome work. Bobby, I'd much rather run a skiddy and a mini separately than have an oversized clunky combo. And basically what Ben was alluding to in his very windy path to get there. That's really where you were shooting.
Yeah, and it was all based off of my knowledge of how Rick runs his stuff.
Correct.
So it had nothing to do with my knowledge. but yes.
Right, yes, absolutely. Let's see here. Darren, multi-tools might do the job. Let's see here. Multi-tools might do the job, but never well. Yes, agreed. Like I always say on here, backhoes are the jack of all trades, master of none. They do a lot of stuff. They don't do it well. I'm just saying. Until we get someone in here to defend backhoes. Like where somebody's got to call Frank Digging OK and get him in here because he needs to come defend his backhoe. That's another guy that's got a channel. He's out of Oklahoma.
Okay.
All he runs is a backhoe.
Really?
And he is incredibly skilled at it. But we still give him a hard time. And I'm planning on going down there and doing a dig off at some point in time where I'm going to get in my mini next to his backhoe and we're going to see who digs faster.
But that wouldn't be fair though, because it's like you're taking a multi-use tool and competing it with a special use tool.
Oh, I will absolutely take a skid steer too, and maybe part of it is we have to backfill the trench afterwards.
Right, yeah.
So we can do that.
Something that would make it a little more even.
Yeah, we can do that. We can absolutely do that. And Jay just said it right out of my mouth. Jack of all trades, master done. Backhoe actually pushes snow really well because they're heavy. That is 100% true. I will give that to the backhoe all day long. Excuse me, and I was out pushing snow with Rick's machine this past week, which is a track machine, which, as we all know, do tracks push snow better or worse than tires?
So I can actually honestly say that I have ran a skid steer without tracks in the snow when I lived in North Dakota very shortly.
Yep.
And I was spinning all over the place. So I'm gonna go with the tracks are gonna push in the snow better.
That is wrong.
What?
Yeah. So what happens is the tracks actually spread.
And I wasn't even BSing. I was being genuine.
I know.
Man, I just got to go back to BSing. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, you have to just swing for the fences on the BSing tonight. That's
Okay.
what we're shooting for. No, so what happens is tracks actually disperse ground pressure, which in mud and everything is really nice.
Right.
But when you're trying to get raw traction,
You want
the ground pressure.
Yeah, okay.
And so that's why wheels do better. And so
Hey, maybe it was that the guy's machine that I was using, he was too cheap and the tires were bald.
just bald.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
I mean-
that'll do it. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with that.
So snow
it wasn't that I
tires-
didn't know what I was talking about.
That's all
It was his fault.
It
The
was a
tires
trick
were bald.
question.
Yes.
Trick question. Totally
Yeah.
set him up for that one. So, what else? Dennis wants to know what else we produce. Oh, by the way, SDK. Good to see you, my man. It's been a little bit here. Dennis wants to know what else we as Americans pronounce wrong. And I can tell you from living in Texas, we say blanco, and it's actually blanco because it's Spanish.
Okay.
We say lano, it's llano.
Yeah.
We don't even try.
So ramen is ramen.
What?
Ramen. Ramen.
Ramen is
Damen.
da.
No, da di do do da damen.
Is that a D on the front?
No, it's a da. I don't. It's Japanese. Da di do do.
Can you draw a da?
No, da, not da, la.
La?
Damen. Damen.
Lamen?
That would be one that Americans do not pronounce correctly. Damen. I can't think of any other right now, but yeah.
Well,
sure it'll come to
he oozes that Japanese like superiority. So throughout the live stream here, it'll come out.
And in general, just superiority in general.
Well, there's that too.
Yeah.
So Ben is kind of like on a superiority level. He's like here, and then you add in the Japanese superiority, and like he's very superior, which is why he's able to BS to the extent that he is. And he walked into the foreman position.
And with confidence.
Yes.
So talking about foreman, like I did actually work with my hands for 3 years of my life. It was a miserable 3 years of my life when I worked for a moving company. And in that job, I stepped into that job as a foreman. This is not BS. And the reason was
You didn't smoke meth.
that was part of it. I didn't have a DUI.
Oh, there you go.
And the requirement when I go to the job was basically at the job interview, the owner of the company is a small local moving company. He goes, "Do you have a DUI?" And I go, "I do not." And he goes, "Well, you're hired."
Driver.
And I go, "Wow." So I became the driver. And once you become the driver in a moving company, you become the crew chief of that van that of that move. And so I jumped right to foreman on my first day on the job.
And every job since then, it's been the expectation that he is the foreman. And in all honesty, like that's why Ben went and started his own church, is because no one would let him actually be the pastor. So he had to start his own church. There we go. We're getting to the bottom of it.
Together.
Yeah, we're getting to the bottom of it tonight.
Sense now.
So, let's see here. Ryan, the one thing about pushing snow with the backhoe is turning. They're already light on the front end, so they skid around a lot. Agreed. That is one thing about backhoes. It's nice to have the articulation point in the middle with a loader to kind of get the angle on the pile. Andrew, if I keep finding that I'm gonna guess that was a mistype there. If I keep finding that I'm pronouncing shit wrong, I'm coming through the screen to box both. Look, Andrew, it can be hard coming to terms with the fact that we as Americans are wrong. I know we don't like to admit it, but we do botch everything. And then tell everyone else they have to learn how to speak our language. Like that's the best part. I don't know if you guys are aware, but English is not the most commonly spoke language in the world. However, we told the world go F itself, because if you want to be a pilot or you want to be a mariner, you better learn English, because we have declared that is the international accepted language. So if you listen to any air traffic controller around the world, they speak English for us dumb Americans. Because we were like, nope, we're not learning your stuff. Learn how to speak English. Let's see here. E. Ryan, what's happening, man? Good to see you. And Dennis makes a good point. Backhoes do have the independent brakes. And so that will help you out substantially. Again, I don't like using the independent brakes. I think it's a pain in the butt. It's just, yeah, it's a pain in the butt. I don't like backhoes. I don't know why I'm justifying myself. I don't like backhoes, damn it. And this is my live stream, so I don't have to justify it. Garrett, we got lucky where I am. We only got 4 inches. I'm gonna withhold my joke.
What she said?
That's what she said.
Okay.
A very wet snow out of that storm. Somehow we got completely missed. We did not. We got about 12 inches of snow. And it was not a good time. It was not a good time. The roads were pretty miserable here. Dan B, hold up. Backhoes are great. And I had to do that long pause because there was enough time that Bobby was able to get in there with a comment before he finished it out. Thank you, Dan. Backhoes can be great. Some people love backhoes. I don't like them. I'm sorry. But it's actually become more of a meme on this that we poo on backhoes all the time, so it is what it is. Bobby, I pushed snow for 2 years in a backhoe in a residential area. Was definitely efficient, but for dirt work, it's a whole different animal. Still, even on the snow, I would say if you could get a small loader in there, like a 321 size machine, I still think I could outpush your backhoe, just because you got all the power focused on just pushing that bucket. The balance is there for the bucket. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't want to rile everyone up and get them frothed at the mouth, but I'm just saying. Let's see here. Jay, I have a question for anyone that could answer. How many other companies makes your area saturated for having a company?
Well, that's going to depend, honestly, on whether you are looking at being in a specific field or you're going to be a general contractor. And I only say that because I do own a small business that's separate. And it just has to do with saturation, has to do more so with your audience that you're trying, or not your audience, but who you're trying to sell what to, and how many other people are selling that same thing.
It's true. And then you've also got another factor, which is how dense is the metropolitan area. So if you're in some rural town, obviously it's going to be a lot harder to support 4 or 5 dirt companies. But when you start getting into large cities like Lansing, Ann Arbor, Detroit, well, you could have hundreds of companies and everyone's still swimming in work. So there's not really a...
And then the economy too.
The economy's going to have, absolutely. If the economy's up and people are doing a ton of dirt projects, obviously there's a lot more work out there to feed a lot more dirt contractors versus when the economy's down and everyone dials back. Well, all of a sudden the work pool dries up and you're gonna shrink the workforce. So there's not really kind of a standard given. Once you have 10 companies in your area, you're saturated. It really just depends.
So Brian, let me ask you this question. If you're starting a new dirt company, are you better off trying to just get out there and get work directly, or trying to work with a contractor and get sub through them?
So it depends on the type of work you're doing. Obviously, if you're wanting to do
like
kind
if you're
of more
new to the area, you don't have that visibility.
Yeah. So if you're new to an area, probably the best route you could do one of 2 routes. So if I wanted to do like residential work, what I would go do if I were doing it, I would go strategically start calling home builders. I would try to find the ones that are doing the high-end luxury homes, and I would go hit those guys up first and see if they would let me go dig a basement at half price. I would basically at cost for me. And that way I can prove like this is the quality of work that I'm doing, and this is what I can do now. If you want to go forward, this is kind of my package and everything. This is what it's going to look like. And then that would be the way I would pursue that. If I want to do more standalone projects like Rick and I do, where I'm bouncing all over, I have a bunch of different. I want to work for myself. That's where I would start hitting up Facebook advertising. I would start hitting up Craigslist, Facebook, Facebook, the group or not the marketplace. Start listing myself on the marketplace. That's kind of how I would try to.
Now, I would be careful. Don't list yourself on Craigslist, just because I know people go to Craigslist for other things.
You have to.
So you got to be careful.
You have to
as a friend, I just want to give you a little bit of.
You really have to word that the correct way, or you get some dirty hoe comments, and all of a sudden you get some very awkward exchanges on the Craigslist.
Yes. Do people still use Craigslist?
It's really died off since Facebook Marketplace took over. Now it is for mostly backdoor hookups. Nick Santa Maria is from Canada. He's my buddy up there that we get crap on each other all the time. But what's happening, Nick? Good to see you, man. How much snow did you guys get up there? Because I know if we got, I think we were at 12 inches here. You guys had to have gotten slammed pretty hard. Ryan, depends on the size of companies and exactly what they specialize in. Exactly. Dennis, everyone up here uses their backhoes for snow removal because that is the only way they can make money with them. I see what you did there, Dennis. That was nice. Matthew Vanderkloot. Is that how you pronounce that? Vanderkloot? Or Cloet? Vanderkloot.
I would go with Cloet.
I think it's Cloet. Yeah. Considering a career in equipment operating, do you recommend going to school, or best to just get into it and work your way up within a company? As the resident expert here on the live stream, Ben, could you give us your hot take?
My hot take on that.
In Japanese.
In Japanese. それはいい質問ですね. I'll stop there. So that's not going to be helpful for anybody. I think that it probably depends on what's available to you. So if you're, the advantage to going to a company and just starting to work from the bottom up is that you're going to get the opportunity to probably, make money while you're learning a trade versus going to a school. However, I also know that depending on the company that you get into, they may not be looking to fill in operators, and you may find yourself on the end of a shovel for a lot longer than you want to be. And that's going to be, that can be frustrating, especially, if you've got, I don't know, if you don't have any responsibilities, then okay, you can do that for a few years. But if you've got responsibilities and cost of living is higher, that's going to be a challenge. So I would say that it depends on your area. But I know for you, you've talked a lot about the fact that, you kind of just have to get out there and start working for a smaller company who's going to give you more of a variety of jobs, and you're going to get a chance to do more things versus a bigger company. You're going to be more specialized, and you're going to kind of be stuck in just, this is the route, or this is the kind of the thing that you do, and you're not going to get a lot of experience outside of that.
So I've got to say, I'm actually pretty proud of Ben because he actually listens when I talk.
I do listen to the live stream. I do
so he's 100% correct. So you can go to school, absolutely. I've always been, I don't want to say full-blown opposed. I'm not opposed to school. I don't think it's a wrong choice and you've wasted your time and money. But I've always kind of advised guys, go the route of working for a small company because, first of all, like Ben mentioned, if you go to a school, you're going to pay for an education, and it's going to be it's kind of the equivalent of going to college to work in a profession. You're going to go to college, you're going to spend money, and you're going to get a slip of paper that says you learned some things. When you actually,
I've got a couple of those too.
Well, and look at how educated Ben is.
Yeah.
Like,
anyways
we'll just glaze over that. But no, it's, you come out and you have a piece of paper that says you know things, but how much of that actually applies to the job that you're doing? About this much. It's going to be the same with the trade school. You're going to pay to get an education, and don't get me wrong, you're going to get some seat time, you're going to learn some things, you will absolutely come out ahead of where you started. But when it comes to actual job site knowledge, how a job site functions, what the general flow of construction is, where you should be on whatever particular piece of equipment you're on, what your role is in that whole thing, you don't learn any of that. You also generally are going to be focused more on talking about the equipment, talking about some of the process in a large scale overview, but you're not getting into reading grade rods and taking elevations and reading prints and really getting into the nitty gritty of how you need to function on a job site. Versus the other way, if you go work for a small contractor, you will absolutely start on the shovel. You just need to know that going into it. But that's also the best education you can get in this industry. You're going to learn absolutely how to take grade rod measurements. You're absolutely going to know how to set that laser up and figure out where your hub is. And you're going to learn how to regrade stakes. You're going to learn all of these things because it's all required of you. And you get a really diverse education because at a small company, most of the time you're not just the shovel guy. You also run some dozer, you also run some skid steer, you also dig a basement here and there. You get this super well-rounded education to where when you come off of that small company after 2 or 3 years of working there, you know almost all the ins and outs of the business. Versus had you gone to trade school, you're $25,000 deep, you got 6 weeks under your belt in a skid steer, dozer, an excavator, and a loader, which means you actually spent probably 12 hours per machine in the actual seat. You're not a operator at that point. You didn't really come away with anything tangible that you can present and say, hey, I'm ready to rock on the job. You're still very much a trainee at that point. So that's why I always tend to push people towards working for a small company. Start earning right away, start working towards your retirement right away, and avoid the school. That's my opinion.
And one other thing to add to that is when you get a wide variety of experience in a small company, you're going to be able to know what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, and moving forward you can then go, hey, I like to work in this, and I don't know all the categories, but whatever the categories, I like to work in this category. And so if you choose to leave that company to start your own company or to move to a different company, you know, kind of like, this is what I enjoy doing, and so this is kind of the path that I want to take as I, pursue.
Absolutely. So I will just give names to the categories. So you may like underground. Go hire in at an underground company and learn all the ins and outs of underground. You may like residential. Go hire in at a residential company and learn the ins and outs of digging basements and finish grades and all that. You may like heavy civil, working at airports and on highway projects. You may like bridge projects. You may like maritime work. It all just is what your cup of tea is. Go pursue that and specialize in that. You can do that right off the bat by working for a company. You can't do that when you go to a school. Let's see here, Darren. You guys also need to learn metric. Fuck your tent system.
So I can come in here because Japan is metric based, and that frustrated me when we moved back to the States, because all of this, like, not going by tens, makes no sense at all to me. And so I am with you. I am metric all the way, and I think that Americans have that wrong.
Well, and that's where I think we universally need to adopt the internet measurement system of bananas, and we just need to convert everything over to bananas, and it's 1.5 bananas high, or we need a cut of 2.5 bananas, and that everyone knows roughly the length of a banana, so it'll be a very accurate system. I need to get a grade rod put together that is bananas. And it's just all the measurements are bananas. Chart, yeah,
bananas.
It's 4.5 bananas or 4.6 bananas. Yeah, absolutely. Well, maybe I'll talk to the guys over at Trimble about that. Nick, 3 to 4 inches seems the standard in America, but in Japan it's 2. But I'm sorry.
No comment.
Had to go.
No comment. I do remind my family, though, that I am taller than average. And they remind me, but Dad, that's only because you grew up in Japan. In America, you are not.
Yes, correct. Yeah,
because I'm like 5'8", barely. So
yeah, so you came to America, and we set the America bar up here.
Yeah, I was
more bananas.
Bananas. I was not taller than average.
That's right. Let's see here, Bobby, 1000% loader tops backhoe. Yes. Except in Canada, Nick, but there was a bunch of Americans here a couple weeks ago talking about 3 inches, blah, 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 blah. Ryan, where are you? Back and forth. Straight east of southwestern Ontario. So yeah, straight east. That's right. This is a bunch of back and forth between them. Sorry about your luck. Jackson, what's happened? So Jackson has been on the podcast.
Okay.
I'm going to just give you the title, Jackson, of being the most loyal subscriber I have. He comments on pretty much every video. He's here in pretty much every live stream. We actually just had his dad's friend on the podcast because he's a wildland firefighter.
Oh, that was last night.
Yep.
You recorded that.
Yep, okay. Exactly. And Jackson hooked that one up.
Nice.
So Jackson is the man. What's going on, Jackson? Good to see you. Glad you're here. And Nick has the Rona. How is that treating you, out of curiosity, Nick?
Now, I forgot to mention, I'm also an expert on COVID.
Okay.
So any of your COVID answers...
Ben is the man.
I have absolute confidence that I will be able to answer them in terms of I'll be able to give you an answer.
Okay, and just to recap for everyone joining us, Ben is not a dirt guy at all, but he is here as
work 3 days.
He worked 3 days on the job.
As a foreman.
Correct. And so... And I was his employee, just so that we really specify that. He was the foreman, I was the guy on the shovel. But he's our resident expert tonight on dirt questions, Corona questions, Japan questions, soccer questions. So any of those, if you have any of those categories that you have a question, absolutely throw it in the chat.
Theology.
Oh, that's right, philosophy and theology. But in all honesty, give him dirt questions because he's going 100% on the BS meter tonight, and he's going to answer them as if he knows what he's talking about. So please challenge him. I'm encouraging you guys to challenge Ben this evening, and we will see how good the BS is. Oh, let's see here. Nick got about 30 centimeters this week. No, how many bananas is that?
2.54 centimeters per inch. So that's just over like 12 inches.
Okay. Okay.
Or no, 10 inches.
So about 1.5 bananas. 1 1/3 bananas probably is more accurate. Inches, I've got a decent feel for a gauge.
Yeah.
I haven't been using the banana measurement long enough to really get a good gauge
where you know what.
Yeah, like
what.
I'm not mentally able to estimate a banana length quite.
Okay.
So we'll get there. It just takes a lot of use. Let's see here. I've been stuck in Windsor many times. Yes, tents can definitely be a pain, but are much more accurate. They're not only more accurate, they're way easier. Once you just go with tents, stop worrying about inches, go with tents. It's essentially like working with centimeters and meters, except it's feet and tenths, which is really just, at that point, you're kind of splitting hairs. You've got a measurement that's based on tenths, on multiples of 10. It's really easy if you just kind of convert over. It's when you start trying to convert back and forth between feet and inches to feet and tenths that you start running into issues, and it's a pain in the butt. So, Bryan, remember on the podcast I did with you, I did Job Corps, and Job Corps is a trade school. It's completely free. So that is, and I will say that about, so Jackson went to Job Corps. It's a free program that you apply to, and if you are accepted in the program, it's basically funded by the state. Okay. And he was able to go in and learn the landscaping trade. They do framing, they do all sorts of different trades. And so that's a fantastic route. And like I said, I do want to reiterate, it's not that I'm opposed to schools. I struggle with these schools that are charging $25,000 for 6 weeks or even 8 or 10 weeks. You're just not getting an education, in my opinion, that is worth that sort of money. You know, Job Corps, where you're not paying and it's something where you can go out, you're there for a duration that, like you said, it was flexible on how long you were in, depending on your learning rate. Like, that's a totally different story than just going and paying 25 grand to go run equipment for 6 weeks. In my opinion, that's just not worth it. Let's see here, especially when doing road work. What's he referring to? I don't know what you're talking about, Bobby. Matthew, appreciate the response. Absolutely, it's what we're here. It's what Ben's here for, is to respond to your questions and educate you on the dirt world.
Yeah, I could be at home right now just Netflixing.
Absolutely, but he decided he was committed tonight.
Yes,
to come and educate you guys on the dirt industry.
But I'm committed.
He did, absolutely.
I forgot about it around and I had to send him a reminder text. He texted me, and then I said, "Oh yeah, yes, this is meant to be. I will be here."
Absolutely. Let's see your eFix. What's happening, my man? Good to see you. Appreciate you coming and hanging out. This is my buddy Ben. He's going to educate us on the dirt world, even though he has 3 days of experience in it. So yes. Dozer Dennis, freedom units. You know, I don't even know that we stick with freedom units. I think we universally come together under the banana scale. That's it.
Now, freedom units, freedom fries, any connection?
They are both America.
Okay.
So you just have to say America and you're covered in both.
Nice.
So if there's a screaming eagle around, you're covered. Matthew Jackson just looked that up. Looks like a great opportunity. Yeah. The Job Corps is an awesome deal. It really is. Corona answer sweet. How in the hell do we Canada out of a constant lockdown? How the hell do we Canada out of a constant lockdown? Interesting wording on that, Ryan. How do we address the lockdown that's happening currently in Canada?
Okay, so here's the deal. Nobody has a good answer for any of this. On a serious note, as COVID began, I'm a pastor, and I found myself having to make these decisions where people weren't happy with the decisions I made, and the reality was, I was like, well, I agree with you that these are bad decisions that I'm making, and like it's between a really bad decision here and a really bad decision there. So I don't have an answer. I think it's kind of ridiculous when politicians and others choose to give answers based on a political line and based on kind of like as if I'm confident, then they won't think I'm BSing, when we just all know that, like, yeah, you don't know the answer, so just tell us you don't have a great answer. Like, that would be helpful, but that's not ever going to happen.
Well, and I will say from the very outset of COVID, regardless of where you initially fell, regardless of where you fell now, on lockdowns and how it was handled, masks, all that stuff, I think we can all collectively agree that had there been consistency, we could have at least gone a direction.
Right.
If we are consistently going to go the route of this is highly infectious, it's going to spread, we have to lock down, we have to do masks, we have to do all this stuff. Okay, I can get behind that. Mm-hmm. If we want to go the route of, okay, everyone's responsible for their own health, we're not going to force anything. If you don't want to be around this, stay inside. Okay, We can all get behind that. We can all move that direction together. But instead, what happened is it became very political right out of the gate, and you started getting, well, we're gonna shut down hair salons, but we'll leave everything else open. Yeah. Why is that? We will enforce masks in this particular area, but if you're in this particular area, we're not going to enforce masks.
Once you sit down at the restaurant,
then you can take your mask off.
So you guys probably don't know this, but you can't get COVID when you're eating food at a restaurant.
That's only scientific fact.
It's only when you're walking from the entrance of the restaurant to your seat where you can get COVID.
Correct. Correct. As soon as cheeks touch the seat, you actually have an autoimmune system defense that kicks in immediately.
Yeah.
And you are no longer able to get COVID.
So now as I say these crazy things, I'm a little concerned because I realize all this is being recorded, and I hope that this does not come back to haunt me.
I don't know how to flash a giant sarcasm button up on the...
Right.
Sarcasm.
I'm joking.
But no, that's, in all honesty, that's kind of been my whole beef from the get-go is, this should have been treated as a true pandemic. It should have been looked at by medical professionals. Medical professionals should have made actual medical sound judgments, and then we all should have gone, okay, let's listen to the medical professionals. But unfortunately, we didn't get that because it instantly turned political, and then even the medical professionals that we were touting all over the place were coming from a political position. And so I don't even know where we're going with this. Ultimately, there's not a good answer because it's not even about the facts of how contagious it is. It's not about the facts of what protects you and what doesn't protect you. At this point, it is just COVID represents where you are politically. That's the sad truth.
Yeah.
If you believe this way, you're a right leaner. If you believe this way, you're a left leaner. It has nothing to do with actual science.
Yeah.
I hope we answered your question. Anyway, let's see here. Let me go back. We're getting behind now. This is a good problem. Let's see. Corona answered. Okay, we got that one. Landon Isaac, tips for finding machinery jobs in high school. I work in a program for school. In all honesty, go apply somewhere, anywhere. Just go apply and you will get a job. If you are willing to pick up a shovel and show up for work consistently and not complain.
Yeah.
Excuse me, pardon me. You'll have a job.
Especially in this economy right now where we are struggling. We
say it. We are struggling.
We are struggling to find people who will work in a way in which, like, you don't need to have the skills as much as the willingness to work.
Correct.
And I found that the 3 years that I worked for the moving company, I had guys who, I couldn't let them use my phone anymore because at the end of a job, I found out they were using my phone to call their drug dealers to drop the drugs off once we got back to the lot. But like, they were consistent and they worked hard for those 10 hours. And so it was like, okay, I'll take that over somebody who's just like, you're gonna be straight-laced, but you're not able to actually work.
So you heard it from Foreman Ben right here. You can conduct drug deals on the side of your job site as long as you show up on time every day.
Well, I didn't let him use my phone anymore once I figured out what was going on, when it was the same red Firebird that was showing up at the lot. As soon as we would get in, I was like, okay, I think I'm beginning to put things together here. This is not happening anymore. But yeah.
Andrew had a grade rod in inches and threw that in the water. Yeah, if you're not throwing it in the water, I'll tell you, they do make great pry bars. That's about all inch rods are good for. Ryan, Ottawa's a bit of hike, blah, 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 blah. Andrew, I have absolutely no problem reading a tape measure in inches, but as soon as a grade rod, lose all my... Dude, anytime you get on a job site with an inches grade rod, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Anyway, let's see here. I lost my spot. Son of a, there it is. Okay. Steven, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that last name. Have you ever heard of a contractor putting in the utilities before doing the grading work? Company we rent our machines, have the dirt pipe crews constantly in each other's way. It depends. Most of the time, your utilities Yeah, so generally, it depends on what you mean by grade work. So if you're talking about just rough cutting the side in, that's generally the process, is you will do all of your heavy grading, utilities go in, and then you'll come back and you'll do kind of your polishing with a small crew. But to have all of the guys on top of each other, yeah, that's terrible management there. Let's see. Bobby, you missed 2 of my comments before that one. Bobby, damn it. What did we miss? I don't know. And structure work. Okay. Well, the problem is, Bobby, I don't know what you're referencing because I get small snippets of your conversation. And because you guys are on a 20-second delay. Anything I say hits you 20 seconds later. And so when you pop off with a response to something that I say, it's been like a minute before I see it. And then by the time we see it in the comments, like it's been at least 5 minutes because we're sitting here gabbing the whole time. So what I hear is you with Tourette's going, let me see here. Where was the comment? Where was it? Here we go. Oh, there it is. Especially when doing road work. And then there's another, and structure work. And that's what I get. It's just Tourette's. I'm sorry. So what you need to do when you structure your comment is, Bryan, in reference to this, and structure work. And that way I'll know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, Bobby. I'm sorry. That's why I've been skipping those. Let's see here. Jackson, Bryan, yes, Jackson, you can absolutely post comments or links in the chat. Absolutely. Lockdown is all by design by the tyrannical system. You know, I think going to the extent of saying that it's a planned deal and there's some motivation behind it that's going to kill, it's never in the best interest of a government to shut down the economy and to cause businesses to slow and the economy to slow. So I don't think there's this great conspiracy. However, I do think that politicians a lot of time get very bogged down in it's my way or the highway, and so instead of looking at something from a logical standpoint or looking at something from a is this best for the country standpoint, it becomes, well, they want me to do this and they're on the opposing team, so I'm going to do this. I think that's ultimately where a lot of this stems from. Which is kind of similar to the way I've got 4 kids, and the way my 2 younger ones oftentimes will interact is like they'll just like my 7-year-old will just double down and be like, oh, you told me to do this, I'm gonna double down and just like go in the opposite direction. Yeah. And then the other one, my 8-year-old, then responds like, okay, like challenge accepted, I'm double down. Yes, and that's my 2 kids are the exact same way. In fact, politics are when you really distill it down, politics are a bunch of like 5 to 8-year-olds in adult bodies that are just back and forth, and they're like, no, you're wrong, no, you're wrong. There is your agenda right there. Andrew, everyone I knew that went to Job Corps is now a 3-time felon, and it's pronounced Job Corps. Whoa, Andrew. If I remember earlier in this live stream, you were getting all huffy about Ben and I correcting how you pronounce things, and here you are pronouncing. I'm just saying. And then we have Jake the Green-Eyed Snake. Gangbang. No one knows what you're referencing. It's just an outburst. Tourette's. Again, Tourette's. Let's see here. Bobby, COVID is an agenda fueled by propaganda. See, I feel like you're getting a little far down the conspiracy path there. I don't know that it's that complex. I don't know that... I don't know. It's a mess. Let's just all agree that COVID has become an absolute dumpster fire for pretty much most of the countries in the developed world. Let's see here. So this is the one nice thing about a Tourette's syndrome comment like gangbang is it gives you, as you get behind in the comments, you have this nice reference point of, oh, there's gangbang, I know where we are in the comments. You don't lose it's yourself. An anchor point. Let's see here. We've done like 5 of the same lockdowns. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. Yes. Yeah. Time to overthrow the government. Oh my gosh, this is devolving fast, guys.
Like there's a legitimate chance that I will not be going to the office tomorrow because I am in prison.
That's true. We're
like we've just started something, and
like CNN tomorrow. A Canadian
revolution
revolution started in the live stream of how Diesel and Iron on YouTube.
Oh man, sorry.
All we wanted to do is have Ben answer some funny questions, and now we're in the middle of a political upheaval. Oh, let's see here. All right. And then... All right, Bobby. Calm it down. Calm it down, Bobby. All right. SWAT team is exactly, Ryan. SWAT team's about to bust down the door. Yeah.
So can I tell you a funny SWAT team story?
Are there funny SWAT team stories?
That's a good point. So coming back to the...
So there we were.
So the 2 to 3 years of my life when I actually worked a job that required a physical exertion, where my hands were not the soft, tender hands that they are today.
Yes.
When I worked for the moving company, I remember one of the days...
And by soft, tender hands that they are today, you are referencing the fact that you're a foreman, correct?
Yes, as a foreman.
Right, as a foreman.
As a foreman. Yes, exactly. One of the days I'm working for this moving company, and because I didn't have a DUI, I automatically became the driver and the crew chief of the truck and of the job site. And so it was my job. We'd come to the lot. We had a straight truck, 26-footer straight truck, and then I'd have my crew with me. And then we'd head out of the lot and go to wherever the job site was where we were moving that day. And so we're pulling out of the lot there, and it was in a neighborhood in Cleveland that wasn't, it become sketchy over time. And all of a sudden I see this black SWAT team truck, kind of like from the movies, just like show up and like cut us off and just stop. And the first response of my two laborers with me was to literally duck down and hide. Because
what did you do?
and they're just like that was their natural response of like, oh no, they've caught us. And my response is, oh,
like, where are they going?
What is going to happen?
Right.
And it had nothing to do with us, but it was just kind of ironic that was their first response. Is that SWAT team showed up, was just like they just hid themselves.
Everybody get down!
Under the truck, as if like the SWAT team had figured out, and maybe had figured out that they were. Yeah.
No. Okay. All right. Well.
So I experienced that.
Exhilaration.
I didn't experience a lot of exhilaration at that job. I experienced a lot of like thinking to myself, man, I went to college. What am I doing? This is a hard job. It was a hard job, but I learned a lot of life lessons.
Yeah,
and respect for people who have to, people who work outside. It's you don't know what it's like until you worked outside in the cold.
Yeah, and have had to deal meth and smoke a little meth. It's a hard life.
Hey, my guys worked better. Like, they crashed, but they work better for the first 6 hours.
Well, there you go. It's just
you had
with enough cocaine, you are an animal. Yeah. You will work all day long at a furious pace.
Not all day long. It was like 3 o'clock when they just would hit the wall.
That's because they didn't get that last little bump in. Their little 8-ball had run out. Okay, all right. So we're gonna fast forward through the comments here because we are starting apparently a Tea Party revolution in Canada. Woo. Okay. Andrew, tenths are not a pain. You're working with even numbers. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you. It's not a pain to work in tenths. It's just as easy as the metric system once you switch it over to tenths. Where you run into issues is if you try to take prints out there that are in feet and inches, then you're trying to convert everything over to tenths. You need to have everything in tenths, and then it's smooth sailing. Or again, I'm going to champion this. We need to universally come together under the banana system. It's just easier. Everyone meets in the middle ground. No one's superior to anyone else.
Right.
We're all new to the banana scale.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just saying. Steven, what I meant earlier, for example, is we put the sanitary laterals in for house lots on a subdivision project, and then dig each basement pad out afterwards while we're trying to avoid hitting each lateral. But the laterals are so far. So are you taking the laterals all the way to the basement? I've never seen that. Most of the time in fact, every time I've ever seen a subdivision developed, and back me up on this, Ben.
Well, I live in a house that's in a subdivision, so I feel like that allows me
You're qualified. Yes, you're qualified.
Yes.
Sure.
So go ahead and I'll tell you if you're right or not.
So every subdivision I've ever been in, the laterals only stub out to, I don't know, call it 50 feet inside the property line. You're well outside the basement boundaries or anything like that. So you shouldn't have any issues digging the basement. Now, if you guys are taking the laterals all the way into the basement dig area, that seems absolutely silly to me. And I don't know why any company would ever do that, because first of all, it's a waste of materials. Like, you should only have to stub out to get inside the property line, and then whoever the builder is digging the basement should cover the materials getting it into the basement, right? So why would I do that as the site prep company? That makes no sense to me.
I agree.
Yeah.
And the same thing if you live in the city. Like, the city's not going to run. We learned that when we changed my sewer line. Like, in fact, we were kind of screwed because they didn't even stub it out to our property line. The stub was underneath the middle of the road, and so if we really wanted to actually go to where the city's line began, we were going to have to dig under the road, which was like not going to happen because it was going to be so expensive to do that. So
Yep. So there you are. So I don't know, Steven, that sounds kind of like a goofy setup there. Bobby, I'll just keep my opinions to myself on how tyrannical our political government system is. It's nothing but love. Yeah. See, that's what needs to happen here, Bobby. Here's what I'm going to tell you to do. And I mean this out of total love. I want you to go and roll yourself a big old joint. And I want you to puff away at that thing. And pretty soon you'll find that it's all okay. It's all good. And then you can just rest easy knowing that someone else can take on these big worries because you've got your joint.
Or
you
get a hot tub and a cigar.
Ben's always trying to get me to go in his hot tub. Like, all the time.
And a cigar.
And a cigar.
A good cigar.
I feel like cigars code for something. You want to come over and get in the hot tub, enjoy a nice cigar? Anyway, Ryan, maybe we need a topic we can all enjoy. So what is bashing backhoes or JCB? See, but I feel like we're really beating a dead horse with JCB and backhoes. We've got to find a really good topic. And again, you guys are supposed to be challenging Ben with all these dirt questions. And so far, like, we haven't had any really challenging dirt questions come through. Like, hit them with some hard ones, guys. We got to get the BS meter to go up. COVID ain't bad. I ate a lot of lizards. Okay, I just wanted to read through that to make sure I was reading it correctly. I ate a lot of lizards' asses in Guadalajara and got COVID. Flew back to the U.S., smoked a shitload of meth, and was good in 5 days. Then the gonorrhea hit. Boiled my balls and was good.
So I think that this statement here is all based on fact.
Yes.
In the same way that my statements have been based on fact. So I think he's just...
Well, it's actually, and I can speak as an authority because I'm from Texas, which is right above Mexico, which is where Guadalajara is located.
Okay, yeah.
And lizard ass is a fine delicacy. In fact, most Hispanic guys on the job that I worked with had lizard ass tacos on a daily basis.
Okay.
And you knew you were working with a good crew when the wife would make extras, and you had... You as the white guy on the crew got to also enjoy lizard ass tacos.
Yeah.
Like, it was really good. But no joke, tamale days were incredible.
Yeah.
This is where I don't get racism right here. So many people love to shit on Mexicans. The Mexicans are taking over our crews and our job. Dude, I work on a Mexican crew any day of the week. Because first of all, they work circles around the white guys. And secondly, you get tamale days. And it's amazing because they're homemade tamales, guys. Like, your racism is keeping you from enjoying amazing homemade delicious tamales.
Yeah.
Is it worth it? Is it worth it to be racist? I say no. And the tamales back me up. Darren, Ben, you're a few weeks behind. We've got a shit show going up on here with protests and borders getting shut down. You'll be good. Is he talking to you, Ben?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know. Yeah, you guys do have a shit show up there in Canada, but I don't know if you're aware of this. You've been living over top of a dumpster fire for the last 2 years. So your little protest in Ottawa is nothing compared to what we've dealt with for the past 2 years here in the States. So for the first time in a long time, Canada led the way on something. Ryan, getting on the banana topic, that would be for measuring distance. How do we measure fluids? It is a can of paint, 4 smashed bananas. Well, so no, the banana system I think is only going to measure height and distance.
So it would just be length, it wouldn't be girth. Well,
that's a good question. You could measure the circumference of a banana, and you could do.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, we currently, if we're talking about, but again, we're talking about. That's a good question. Like how many? But again, if you're really going circumference, you can turn that into a length again, and you're back to bananas, right?
I mean, yeah.
And fluids isn't the problem. Well, in America, fluids is a problem. My God.
32 ounces.
32 ounces.
But then the weight is different from the fluid ounces.
Right, and then you get into quarts and pints and.
Yeah. I don't understand it.
I don't either. That's why we all, as Americans, have conversion charts as refrigerator magnets, so that we can understand what the F is happening in our kitchen. Let's see here, Jake. With no dirt work experience. I think your punctuation was a little off there, Jake, but I'm gonna read it the way you wrote it because it's delicious. With no dirt work experience.
Stop.
Yes, with no dirt work experience, how do you know how to pronounce equipment names? Is it the language, or have you heard it from workers in Japan? Ooh, I think he's calling you out on not being an actual dirt guy in Japan.
So it's just from growing up in Japan. Those are Japanese names.
It's from
companies.
The vibrators, the Hitachi vibrators. So I'm sorry, it's not Hitachi.
Hitachi, right, is the first thing. And secondly, I did spend a day working in Japan as a laborer in a construction site. When I was 5 years old, my parents sent me to we just moved to Japan a year before that, and my parents immersed me into the culture. So I went to pre-K in Japan, and to understand the culture being different than America, at 5 years old, my parents felt it was safe for me to walk a mile by myself as a 5-year-old to the kindergarten that I was going to. Well, I passed a construction site in our neighborhood where we were living at the time. And as a 5-year-old, I decided, you know what, I'd rather spend my day at the construction site than at the kindergarten.
Absolutely.
And what I can't figure out is these guys were like, sure, no problem, hang out with us. And so I spent the day with them, ate lunch. My only mistake I made was I came home before the day was out for school. And then when my parents asked me, they said, did you go to school today? I then lied and doubled down. And they're like, well, why are you home so early? And I was like, oh no, it's the time to be home. And I got caught. But I did spend a day.
I can tell you right now, if a 5-year-old showed up to our job site, you'd absolutely take him on for the day.
Yeah,
like, come on, man.
Yeah, like what was happening in that
grab the shovel, let's go.
I don't understand.
We'll put you to work.
Like, they gave me soda, and they even gave me lunch, so I threw my own lunch away to cover up the fact that I didn't go to my kindergarten.
Nice.
And
it sounds like those guys totally hooked you up.
They did.
And then you dropped the ball when you got home.
I did.
Yeah.
And I got caught.
And I'm gonna ask this. If a 5-year-old showed up to my job site, would I be more responsible putting the little guy to work, keeping him safe?
Right.
Or should I go wander free and go figure out where you need to go? No, it's safer. You keep him there. You know he's safe. You know you're good.
That's a good call.
There you go. Oh, look at there. Frank showed up. I'm glad we decided to drop. I'm going to come back to you, Frank. So digging okay here. That's Frank.
Okay.
And Frank and I give each other crap because he's a diehard backhoe guy.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad you made it, Frank. We're going to come back to you. We'll get there. Let's see here. Andrew, screw the backhoe debate. Oh, I'm sorry, Steven. Let me back up here. So, Steven, we posted markers for each lateral so we'd know where each lot was, but then all the posts kept getting... So it sounds like you guys just had horrific communication and organization on your job sites. I will agree that it sounds like your company needed a severe logistics work over there. Andrew, cat is trash, Volvo is king. Here's the deal. At the end of the day, it's not about the paint color. It's about who can keep you up and running the longest. But I will agree that cat is not all it's cracked up to be. I'm not saying it's bad, but I am saying that it is not the, oh my God, it's a Caterpillar machine, let's bow down to it. I'm sorry, that's not, nope. Let's see here. I did not eat lizard ass. I ate a lot. Oh, wait, so see, Andrew, you've got to specify that because you did not mention a lot lizard. You said you ate, oh, you did. I ate a lot lizard's ass. I see. I put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. Yes.
It's all starting to make sense.
We need some commas in there. Sweet Jesus, how am I supposed to decide how I'm going to break up that sentence? Because it sounded like you ate a lot of lizard ass. Instead, you ate a lot lizard ass. I'm with you. I think you're lucky to have only come away from that with COVID, in all honesty. I think there's a lot of other things that you should have gotten.
Well, he did mention he got some other things in that.
That is true.
5 days after.
That's true. That is true. So Frank is here. Good to have you, Frank. And yes, I think we're finally, kind of getting to the end of our crapping on backhoes. I feel like we're beating a dead horse at this point, even though they're still awful machines and minis are way better. Ryan, Sons of a Line of the Man, the myth, the legend himself showed up. Yes, they did. Frank the man. Let's see here. And yes, as Darren said, Andrew, thank you for, we went out of our way to double down on the fact that you did eat a lot lizard's ass. I do appreciate you drawing we are so far down the road in the conversation. I appreciate you drawing us back to that moment so that you could really drive home.
What happened?
What happened? I want to set the record straight, right. Damn it. I'm on Diggin' OK's side. This is eFix here. But what's up with the New Holland? Not a fan of the other brands. So New Holland, oh no, I can't even say that because the New Holland backhoes are not the same as the case backhoes. So that's not, nope, I'm gonna zip my lip right there. So you're on a site, you have 4% grade, you need to cut a building pad that is 150 feet by 150 feet. How many cubic yards of dirt will you need to move? Can you use only one backhoe to do it?
Oh, this is like a question for me.
Oh, he's setting you up, man.
Okay, this is great.
So you got a 4% grade.
Yep.
We need 150 by 150 pad.
Yep.
How many cubic yards of dirt are we going to need to move?
Well, it all depends on how many cubic yards of dirt is there to begin with. And is the grade starting at 0% or is there already a grade?
Well, so let's draw a picture. So we have a lot. 4% grade.
Yeah.
And we need 150 by 150 pad here.
Yeah.
So this is the side view, right?
But they want the 4% grade, or you already have
No, it's flat.
Grade?
You need a flat pad.
Okay, yeah. I mean, for something like that, probably what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to step away for a moment and just stop, reflect, pray, and then close my eyes and then come back and I'll give you, cubic yards. You're probably looking somewhere around 4,000 cubic yards is right about where, maybe 3,095, 3,985.
I'll roll with it.
Something around there is what you're going to be looking at. And you're going to be looking to remove those cubic yards. So you want to figure out where can you dump it, because you may not, not every place is going to be able to take all that cubic yardage of material. And also, is it good material or bad material? Are we talking about fill or black dirt? Because if we're talking about black dirt, which, that's going to have a little more value than just plain old clay and fill, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. That's going to make a difference as well on where you're going to be able to take it, whether you're going to be paying to get that material, for them to take it from you, or whether they're going to pay you for that material.
Absolutely.
So, that's kind of how I would roll with it.
And there it is. That's from Ben. Again, for those of you just joining us, Ben has 3 days of dirt experience.
And it's more foreman experience than dirt experience, because I was a foreman. It wasn't so much that I did any work as much as
correct. He just told me how I was doing things wrong.
Right.
Yep. So Ben is just coming in as the resident expert on these situations. So like I said, Dennis, thank you. By the way, that was a fantastic question for him. Challenged him. I feel like he he stepped up to meet that bar that you set for him.
And I failed miserably.
3,095 yards, roughly. Is that what it was?
Well, 3,895 to 4,000.
890. Okay.
It's right in that range.
And you've got to make sure. Yeah, I nailed it. Jackson, Ben, what is your opinion on the Sea Shepherd?
So if you're talking about the Sea Shepherd, like the places, I'm assuming you're talking about that group that gets the Japanese whalers and tries to stop them from whaling. If that's the case, I would say that having eaten whale meat myself, growing up in Japan, went to public school, that was something that was in our lunches in the cafeteria. You didn't have a choice in Japan with the food that everybody ate the same food. And I liked whale meat, and so I'm going to say boo to the Sea Shepherd. I do think it's kind of ironic that the Japanese whalers whale based on the laws as I understand them are that you can only kill whales for the sake of education, and we were just talking about this.
Yeah.
And so while the Sea Shepherd, and the Sea Shepherd can't use force, they have to use like water guns, not water guns, but yeah, water cannons. And
super soakers.
Yeah, super soakers. That's what they do.
Stop whaling.
Well, and they're trying to make the whale, like they're trying to make the whales that have been caught, or cause it so that you can't actually eat the meat by trying to, I forget like what the word is, but contaminate the whales as they're being like taken care of on top of the ship. But all that to say, I'm gonna say like I'm gonna be in support of the Japanese whalers, but it is kind of funny because the Japanese whalers are whaling based on the fact that it is for research that they're whaling, and we all know that they're not whaling for research. They're whaling because that meat is a delicacy in Japan and we just like the taste of it.
So in reality, the Sea Shepherd is actually interrupting valuable biology lessons.
That's what the Japanese are saying, which is ironic because that's not the case. But it's the means by which we are the Japanese are internationally allowed to whale, and then the Japanese people get to enjoy a delicious delicacy.
So I really hope that
and I'm sure
the majority
everybody was looking for that was a helpful comment.
Yeah,
for this group.
I'm really hoping that the majority of this live stream is not taken out of context down the road, because so far we've managed to start a revolution in Canada. Apparently, now we're all for whaling. My God, where else can we go tonight? Does anyone? Man, what could we talk about? Okay, all right. Ryan, is the New Holland backhoe not the same as a case? They're skid steers and tractors with the same base machine. They share some parts, but they are not the same machine. And I'll tell you, one of the biggest tells of that is if you look at the boom design on a case, how it folds back up over top of the machine. On the New Holland, it still hangs off the back. It is not the same design, but they do have a lot of shared parts. Andrew, how did you end up in Japan? Military family?
No, my parents were missionaries, and so we moved there when I was 4. And I'm 42 now, so that was a long time ago.
But he hasn't lived in Japan for 40 years. You should specify when you moved back.
I left home at 15 to go to boarding school in the Philippines. So I lived there for a few years before I came back to the States and go to college. But yeah, so I haven't lived there, but I grew up in Japan, so there's part of me that just still feels like I'm Japanese, even though I'm not.
All right, there you have it. The history of Ben.
Yeah.
And why he's telling us how to pronounce Hitachi better.
Hitachi. It genuinely bothers me. I'll say it incorrectly.
Kubota.
Kubota. It's the name of, like, Kubota is the name of a person. It's like if Fairness. Like, you won't want people to call you Fairness. Like, you want to be called Furnace. That's your name.
Well, see, I wouldn't get bent out of shape about that. Like, you got some thick, heavy Southern accent.
You need to have a little more respect.
Oh,
for yourself.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Well, excuse me. Louisiana, what's up, Bryan? Do you know me? Yes, we've chatted before. Is this? Wait a second. Is this Jesse? I can't remember. Damn it. I think it's Jesse. I don't remember. Damn it. Don't hold that against me. There's a lot of people in here. Let's see here. Nope, that's nothing wrong with that. We have a few. Tell you running a loosey goosey case 4-stick from 2000. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. What's your opinion on Honda?
So let's say it right.
Honda.
In terms of what?
What?
Like, we're talking motorcycles? Are we talking vehicles? Are we talking lawnmowers? Because I would say yes to all of them.
All right.
Yeah. I only buy Japanese vehicles. That's true. You know that.
I do. And I love Japanese vehicles.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed them until I moved to Michigan and was instantly shamed for owning a Japanese vehicle. Oh, we won't even get into that story. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Dude, cut my tooth on a loose 4. You're so far behind. You got to talk fast. That's the thing, man. These comments stack up when we get on our little soapboxes. Bobby, let's talk about how badass Myanmar is. What are your thoughts on Myanmar?
Myanmar.
What?
I lived in like the country Myanmar.
No, that's a machine. Myanmar.
Oh, Myanmar.
Myanmar.
Once again, if it's not Kubota or Hitachi, I'm not interested.
Oh, there it is. You got that Japanese like upper echelon.
Yeah.
We're not gonna mess with anyone else. Brandline Gaming. That's Jesse. Damn it. I got it wrong. Jesse, what's happening, man? Good to see you. And everything is going well. Now I can't remember who Louisiana is. Oh, unless, wait a second. Is that Brandon? Is that Brandon's second account? I can't remember. I can't keep all you guys straight. It's too effing hard. For God's sakes. Let's see here. The case New Holland share a lot of parts. Interesting thing is overseas case machines look exactly like a New Holland, but the loader and back boom are much different. There it is. Frank kind of expounded on what I just said. Since then, Japan's whaling operations are actually now illegal. That was Jackson's response.
Oh.
Antonio, I finished high school this year and I'm planning on going into equipment operating for my career. How should I go about finding a job? I'm going to let our resident expert here, Ben, take over on this one.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've talked about it before, but the good news is that we are in an economy where there are more jobs than there are people willing to take those jobs. And so you have a little bit of leverage in knowing that there's people looking to hire. So the question for you becomes, what type of a job do you want to get? Do you already kind of know the idea of kind of the direction you want to go? Or are you looking and going, hey, I'm not sure in the industry what avenue I want to go, so I want to get kind of a broad experience. And based on those answers, then you begin to look at, hey, am I going to go for a smaller company, like we talked before, that's going to have a variety of jobs that they're doing? Or do I go for a bigger company where I'm going to kind of be in one vein, just kind of doing one job monotonously? So those are some of the thoughts that I have. Having said that, please don't make life decisions based on my opinions. Can I just say that? Like, I feel like I'm okay BSing other things about how much yards of dirt there are, but I realize as I'm BSing my way through this, suddenly there's a gentleman's like looking to make a decision, a significant decision in life, and you're, so will you listen to Bryan and whatever he has to say?
So
if you affirm
so as the actual expert,
let's just not
go find a small to mid-sized company. This is what I always tell everyone. The best way into the industry is from an education standpoint. Go find a small to mid-sized company and go work for them and start on the end of a shovel. Go learn from the ground up, because you're going to learn all of the basics. You're going to learn how to read a grade rod. You're going to learn how to set grades. You're going to learn how to calculate slopes. You're going to learn how to regrade stakes. You're going to learn all of that stuff. You're going to learn how to look and see what level looks like in the hole. And you just don't get an eye for that when you just get into the seat right away. And then what happens is over time, because it's a small to mid-sized company, is you're going to work yourself into a seat relatively quickly. I would say within a year or two, you'll be in the seat of a machine and you'll be actually operating. And again, you've got the flexibility and the patience to learn there, as opposed to a large company where it's going to be go, 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 go. And if you can't perform day one in the machine, you get booted out and put on a roller. That is by far the best way to get in this industry. You should not have any problems getting a job. If you go apply, you will have a job within a week. And if you don't, you really need to consider your, what's going on with your resume, previous job experiences. Like, there's something out of place for you not to find a job within a couple weeks. The industry is hiring like crazy right now. So that is my legit opinion. Go find a small to mid-sized company, go apply, and just keep your head down, show up to work on time every day, and learn. Absolutely, just be a sponge. Dennis, wrong, 1,250 cubic yards, but I didn't tell you we were doing a 3-to-1 back slope, so that would be 21, well, we'll call it 2,200 yards. And by the way, I'm a school teacher.
Oh, nice.
Well, as a school teacher, Dennis, you totally pulled one over because you didn't give him all the information. I think you totally would have gotten it right had he had all the information.
Yeah, there's a part of me that wants to shame you a little bit, and so I think I'm going to go with that part and just say I hope you don't treat your students the way you treated me, trying to get a proper answer without giving me all the information.
It's not fair.
That's just not fair.
It's not fair.
Yeah. So.
Let's see here. Since you want to jump straight off a hill, we could make liquor or produce drugs at our mining operation. We'll be off the beaten trail. That's true. Who cares if we find gold? If we're just making malt liquor in a giant hole in the ground, we will find other sources of income.
That itself is gold.
There you go. Andrew, always keeping it classy. I want to go to the Philippines. Them chicks are freaks. Nothing says class like that right there. Coming from the man who ate a lot lizard's ass.
I feel like, I'm just trying to be appropriate.
Yeah, it's going to be impossible with this crowd, unfortunately. Merrick. So Merrick is the guy, M. Miller there, is the guy I went down to Ohio and worked with him and his boss.
Oh, nice.
Running the Lee Bear Dozer. I don't know if you remember that trip.
Yeah.
What part of the Philippines? I totally forgot. Merrick's wife is from the Philippines.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so I lived right outside of Manila. There's an international boarding school there. If your wife's from the Philippines, it would have been in the province of Makita and Antipolo. So those are like I forget which one's a province and which one's a city. But anyways, yeah, so it was like, about 15 miles outside of Manila. Manila's a massive city, and it just kind of spreads. Like it's busy. It would take us an hour to go 15 miles to get into the city because it's just the traffic is wall to wall. But that's where we live.
So one of the conversations I had with Merrick and his wife at dinner one night was all of the different Filipino food.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the name of it, but the duck egg.
The balut.
Balut, that's right.
Which is
Did you try it?
No. I'll eat raw fish growing up in Japan. I like octopus. But balut is on another stratosphere because it is an egg where there's a fetus in the egg that has then been fermented. I forget how long, but it's been fermented. And I don't understand this. Like Japan has foods as well that are fermented. It's like these are foods that are rotten, and they suddenly become delicacies. And I don't understand. Japan does it. It's in the Philippines. I don't know. I don't get it.
I can say this because I've physically talked to Merrick's wife in person.
Yeah.
It's gross. It's so gross. You'll never. She loves it. She absolutely loves it. It's so gross.
Yeah.
God, it's nasty.
Yeah.
Anyway. Ben, land clearing. Do you bury the brush, burn it, or haul it away?
This is an easy one. It depends on how close the neighbors are.
That was a good answer.
And then the second question, or the second answer is, how cold is it outside?
That's true. And do you have s'more materials?
Yeah, that's what I do. So those are really the questions that I would be looking to answer. Is anybody going to call the local DNR, like Department of Natural Resources?
Yep.
Those would be the questions that I would ask as I'm trying to figure that out. I will say that we just did a small land clearing project on our new house, and we ended up burying a few things, and we did have an issue where like 6 months later we got some it caved in just a little bit where the dirt didn't fully settle, or it settled in a way in which like we had some holes that we had to fill in, or I've had to fill in later.
Yeah, there you go.
So
I'm not even gonna follow that up.
How close the neighbors are.
That's absolutely right. Let's see here. Jackson says, "I bet Ben is a Nintendo guy."
I did grow up playing Nintendo. This is true, and it's actually in Japan we call it Famicom and Super Famicom.
That doesn't sound anything like Nintendo.
Well, Famicom is what it was called in English, and it was Famicom in Japanese, and then Super Famicom.
When did it become Nintendo?
I don't know. I'm not sure how that all happened.
Okay.
But I also grew up in a home where we didn't have a TV until the '86 Olympics, was it, or something? So I was a little
born
deprived.
in '85, so I'm not sure.
Okay, I was a little deprived of technology. Is what I'm saying.
There you
as
go.
Well.
Let's see here. What is the proper pronunciation of Ikea, Ben? I heard on the radio a couple months ago that apparently we say it all wrong.
I don't know because IKEA is not Japanese.
It's not Japanese. Got to keep it strictly Japanese, ladies and gentlemen.
That's the only answer I have.
Respect the culture.
I think the correct answer, though, to the how do you pronounce IKEA?
Ikea.
It's the answer would be something along the lines of you will walk in a maze and be lost for 3 hours until you find what you're looking for.
The mega cafeteria.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Rashad, what's happening? Good to see you. It's been a while. So Rachie 003 there?
Yeah.
That's Rachel
Okay.
from church.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we have to shut down all of the things we've been talking about. So Rachel, just fair warning, we have somehow managed to start a revolution in Canada in this live stream. And there's been a lot of things. It's gotten intense. Jake, I like this pastor. If I'm ever on the greasy east side, I'll be sure to check him out on a Sunday. What is the greasy east? How did we even come up with the greasy east side?
And then, if this is the greasy east side, what's the west side? What is? There's got to be.
Yeah, is it uphill or downhill? Yeah, I'm not sure. Rashad, I started at my job just by walking up on the job site asking if they needed help, and my boss hired me on the spot. 100%. That is where the trades are at right now. If you walk up, by the way, 10 minutes, guys. 10 minutes, and we're going to wrap this baby up. But yeah, if you can walk on a job site and you express interest in working, they will 100% hire you. Jackson, have you ever... Ooh, we're getting intense now. Ooh, have you ever seen The Passion of the Christ? Asking since you're a pastor.
I have.
Okay, there you go.
Yes, I have seen that movie by Mel Gibson. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one. And there is a metal band called Dying Fetus. To go back to your Beirut.
Oh, interesting.
There you go. And that doesn't shock me at all that there's a metal band called Dying Fetus. That's not a shock at all. And I bet their music's got a lot of very deep lyrics.
Yeah.
Let's see here, Dennis. The right answers always come from the students asking the right questions. You know I'm playing around. Dennis, he's taking everything personally this evening.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to hear him bitch and decompress for like an hour after this. So thanks, man. Thanks. Ryan, the thought of fermenting food is making me want to throw up. That's just gross. Now, hang on now.
Yeah, there are good fermented foods.
Sauerkraut.
I was going to say kimchi.
Oh, yeah,
Korea.
kimchi's pretty good.
That's what I'm going to go with. But yeah, sauerkraut. Okay. Yeah.
Gives you gas, but it's good.
Right.
And then all of your beer, wine, all of your distilled spirits are fermented. I mean, come on, man. Don't write it off because it's fermented. But balut is disgusting. I started at $10 an hour and I'm the general foreman. Really, anyone can do it if I can. To be honest, I'm not that smart of a guy. Just show up, work hard, and show that you care. Well, Rashad,
yeah, don't sell yourself short there.
100%.
Because the willingness to work hard and showing up and being consistent, those can go a lot further than general knowledge. And don't sell yourself short. There's a lot of companies that would be really thankful to have that type of individual working for them.
Yeah, there you go. I was going to say the same thing. Don't sell yourself short. Clearly, you're doing something right for you to get promoted.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's nothing, and I've mentioned this before, but you guys have seen me operate because I'm on YouTube and I put myself out there, but at the end of the day, there's nothing special about me. I don't have any magical abilities. I can
affirm that too. Like, you're not special.
I'm not special.
Like, I am special.
It's very good for my self-esteem.
Yeah, but I remind you, you are not special.
I'm not special.
Yeah.
I'm really not. In all honesty, I'm not special. It's literally having a passion for what you do and spending a lot of time doing it and continuously trying to get better at it. That's what makes you good at something. Obviously, some natural talents will help you, and there's guys, Ryan, that I worked out in Minnesota with, is a prime example. Natural talents and natural abilities will 100% get you there faster, but at the end of the day, especially in the trades, it's all about putting in the time and the work, and you will get there. So
it's about finishing.
It is.
It's not about starting. It's about finishing. There's a reality to that.
Yes.
In life. Like, finish strong. You know, everybody can start strong. I started strong in 3rd grade when I did that marathon, like the 5K at our school. I didn't finish as strong, but, like, you know. So
I want my sound effects board so bad right now.
See,
yes,
that's inappropriate. I wasn't going inappropriate.
I know.
I was going legit, like.
But man, the sound effects would have been good right there. Let's see here. Jackson's an Xbox person. You know, I was always PlayStation just because.
Oh, that's Japanese.
Is it?
Yeah, Sony.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah. And my camera's Sony right there. Yeah. Sorry, I had to take a drink. Merrick. She loves it all. Balut. She grew up in Manila. Yes, it's a very large city.
Yeah.
Boondock Saint 621. I don't know if I've seen you in here before. Thanks for coming in here, because I don't think I've seen you in here before. Just showing up on time is huge. My crew struggles with that. Not hard to move up at all. 100%. It's about showing up. It's about being consistent and dependable and reliable.
Yeah.
Let's see here, Darren. Fermented bananas. I don't know that I've had fermented bananas.
I don't know that that's a thing, but I'm sure it is somewhere.
I'm sure it is. Anytime you ferment something, you're going to get alcohol out of it. So how hard can you complain? What's the measurement on that? I don't know what that was, Ryan. Yep, see, we're behind enough in the conversation. I'm trying to think back of what we were talking about that could have been measured. I don't know. See here. Best thing I've heard a foreman say is you ain't special. That's it. That's absolutely it. Ryan, or would fermented bananas be the fluid measurement as it goes all soupy? I still feel like fermented bananas, I feel like fluid measurement, we have to go a whole other route, because bananas are typically a length measurement, and I think fluid measurements just banana juice.
You gotta find a different fruit if you're gonna go that route.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to noodle this for a while. Which is the true state of hockey? Minnesota or Michigan?
Depends if we're talking pro or college.
Ooh.
And if we're talking college, I would actually argue it's North Dakota. Because UND hockey, I lived in North Dakota for 4 years, and UND hockey is the place. And that's where I'm going to go.
Wow.
In terms of supporting things.
Okay. So you came out like a true expert on that one. I'm a little impressed.
Well, and we've been doing hockey because we just cleared the little canal behind our house. And we've been I got the kids, we've been skating nonstop for the past 3 days.
I busted my knee pretty good out there.
Yeah.
That feels good. I took the skin off. It's nice. Yeah. Anyway. By the way, someone draw me a line. We're going to the line and then we're calling it, because it's 9 o'clock. And you guys know 9 o'clock is shutdown time. Anyway, see, Dennis is already on it. Like, we didn't even have to, like, that's the old man Dennis is, and I am also. But Dennis is already calling it and saying goodnight, and we haven't even requested to draw the line yet. So I'm all about it, Dennis. You're the man. Let's see here. If you hear that, you better write because it's a rare event, blah, blah. Okay, Jackson, hold up, Bryan. You are very special. Thank you. I hope that's in a nice and kind way that you're saying that. You're a great friend. Glad that I call you my friend. Thank you, Jackson. I appreciate that. I appreciate the support, brother. I really do. Frank, that was right before I pushed him in the ditch. So Frank just said that one of the best things he heard from his foreman is you ain't anything special.
That
was right for you. Yeah. And there's the line. We got all quiet here at the end, so we're already at the line. So let's see here. I've been in here before, maybe on another account, who knows. Just wanted to say thanks for your videos. You put out a lot of good info, learn a lot of stuff. Thanks for watching. I always say this whenever I get compliments. You guys make the channel happen. This is entirely for you guys, and it continues to be fueled by you guys. So I do appreciate you guys joining us on the live stream, watching the content, commenting really helps us out a ton. So and Ryan just said thanks for being entertaining and coming on.
Yeah, it was, I mean, we started it off before the live stream started, and the goal was not necessarily to do something that I would come back to, but really to just try and explode here, knowing that I probably won't be in.
I feel like it wasn't an explosion. I feel like you handled yourself pretty well.
I tried to.
We did start a revolution in Canada, but you know, I feel like that's not entirely your fault.
And I did my graduate school in Canada.
Oh,
did you know that?
I didn't.
Yeah, I tell people that I went to school in Cambridge, and then I stopped there. And then I go Ontario. That's
nice.
why I went to seminary.
Nice.
So, but yeah, can I just say that I asked for permission, but I'm going to say it anyways. I will say to you guys in the live stream, knowing Bryan as a friend, like, this dude is legit. And just his skills are legit, his videography stuff is legit, but like, there's nothing about Bryan that is different off camera than on camera, which is probably why we're friends and we enjoy hanging out together. And so yeah, I just think it's kind of cool and unique, and it's exciting to see people get to see a little bit of who you are that I get to kind of hang out with. Yeah. And to see your skills in just everything that you do, and you do have a lot of knowledge and that stuff. Now, there's lots of other things that I'm way smarter than he is on, and I remind him of that constantly.
All the time.
Constantly.
All the time.
But yeah, man, in this world that you live in, like, it's cool to watch because you know what you're talking about.
I appreciate that. It's one of the rare. It's my small bubble, because with my wife, I don't know what I'm talking about. With you, I don't know what I'm talking about. But in this little small bubble here, I get to be an expert.
Oh, come on.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for hanging out. We appreciate it. You guys have a good, safe week. Do your best if you're in the north to stay warm, and we'll catch you guys next week on the live stream.
All right. Thanks, guys.